Hey, what's going on, everyone? Seth Miranda here for Adorama TV, coming to you from inside the new DJI Osmo Pocket 3. This is a long-awaited release for us here at Adorama because we love the Pocket series. We've been using them since day one. In fact, the Pocket 2 has been in my pocket for the last 2 years. So I've been looking for this one to come out with a few things that I want to change, and they kind of addressed almost all of them. So let's walk through all of it. Biggest change here, I would say, is the 1-inch sensor. That's a significant size upgrade from what we had in the Pocket 2. So you have a better low light capability here, along with the f2 lens that's on board on this thing, but you also have an upgrade of the interface. So not just the image upgrade, but the interface upgrade with this flippable screen that goes from portrait to horizontal to turn it on, but you can also record in portrait. But in horizontal landscape mode, you've got all that real estate to actually see what you're doing and all the clickable stuff around the edges. So you don't have to always go into menus for quick action stuff like flipping the gimbal around or getting to other settings that even you should have to go through the menus to get to. You're looking at me in 4K 24. This can go up to 4K 60. It actually can go up to 4K 120 technically if you go into slow-mo mode. And you're also looking at me in D-Log M 10-bit color. This is nice. We've got a nice flat look that we can grade and post, but we also have a lot of latitude compared to what we were looking at on the Pocket 2 because we've got that sensor upgrade, right? It's got the gimbal head like we know, and it'll track my face like we know, but having used the Pocket 2 for the last couple of years and then trying this one out, I can tell you in my personal experience, it feels better as far as the tracking goes and the autofocus overall. The low light feels like it's more responsive to me with the autofocus in that regard, but also I just think that everything's been upgraded here, including the audio. So on the Pocket 2, you were able to use the lav mic with it that was made for that camera if you got the add-on handle. Here, the receiver is integrated into the base handle, the one that's actually on the camera without any accessory, but I actually do like the add-on handle. We'll get to that in a minute, but the reason you're hearing me here is because the receiver is built into the standard grip that's already on the camera itself. Now, as far as that add-on handle goes, here's another thing that I was super psyched on because the DJI Pocket 2, I always was plugging in power banks into this thing in between stuff. I was doing long vlog type things. Well, here you're able to add on a battery extender handle. It's going to give you about 65% more battery life, which is cool, but it also is detachable and have the internal battery as well. This means you can probably get multiples of these and treat them like swappable batteries and hot swappable because you already have the internal battery working at the same time. When you do plug it in and you put the USB-C to it, it's going to charge the internal battery first and then the external handle. If you want to just charge the handle, obviously detach it, charge it by itself. Another quick bit about this screen, which is a huge quality of life improvement from the original Pockets, is yeah, you get all that nice landscape real estate to work with, and you can see it when you're long arming and stuff like that, but you can also flip it portrait mode. It's not just an activation switch when you flip it, you can flip it back to portrait, and just so you know, it's gonna crop in, right? So if you're in 4K 24 like we are here, if you flip it to portrait, it's gonna give you 3K 24, for example, which makes total sense because if it's gonna turn the whole camera on its side, you wouldn't actually have the stabilization up and down. The axis changes, right? There's a hinge there. So it makes total sense, and it's perfect for when you want to flip from going to YouTube to going to YouTube Shorts, for example, or do some Reels, TikTok, whatever it is. I'm not going to judge whatever platform you want to go to, but you do have the ability to go portrait mode here and have that file be that way. In addition to what I feel is some better autofocus and tracking in this updated model, you also get another autofocus mode, which is dynamic. They actually pull up the golden spiral as an overlay on the screen and focus points. So if you have someone manning it for you, you can kind of be like in front of it and they'll tap the autofocus points to go to different areas on the fly, which is pretty cool. And I guess the golden spiral is there just so that you have a frame of reference of what would actually work compositionally. All right, so just to see the dynamic range, this is the same place I did that trends video, and you can see the sky and everything behind me in daylight, the dynamic range, all that, and you're listening to me on the front microphone. So just as a nice little test of dynamic range and being backlit and all that stuff, and seeing how it does on auto exposure for me and the microphone over here, you know. Not bad, not bad. One of the things I found super helpful with this was fast charging. It's about 16 minutes to get to full charge, which is great. And you know, it's also familiar. If you're used to the Pocket, you got the same thing going on here with the Pocket 3, along with the memory card. You're looking at that single micro SD card slot. One thing you're gonna notice is that we don't have that slide out piece to make all these accessories. It is what it is, which is actually kind of nice. They simplified it. They kind of took the feedback of what people actually used and made the design as such. One of the things I like is a lot of people got confused with the joystick and these extra buttons on the previous model. Here, if you want to do something like lock the gimbal head, you just got to squeeze down on the joystick and it'll do that. Instead of you having to go like triple this and double, like none of that. Hold down that joystick, you lock the gimbal head, which is nice for FPV if you're trying to show something really quick. You want to take over, you can. All right, so if you're familiar with the Pocket series at all, you know about the swipe from the sides to get to those menus. So while I have the ActiveTrack 6 going on here with this Cyclops buddy of mine following me, let's go to the other side of the camera, stop the recording, and go through those menus. All right. So here you got a really nice easy access menu. Right now you can see that we're in selfie tracking mode, all that stuff. Brightness for the screen right there with the sun. This is your options with the joystick, whether you want it to actually tilt or pan the head or you want to make it a zoom. This is actually cool because you can save your user profiles in here. So if you have multiple people using it or multiple ways you use it, you can save the way you have it set up in different profiles, which is cool. You have your rotational speed if you want to make it super fast or default, depending on how you want that motion to look. Of course, you can switch it between landscape and portrait mode like we've been talking about. And this is where you're going to go into all the setting stuff. So if all else fails, you always go to that settings menu, right? If you can't find it, well, it's right here. Flick that out of the way and we're in portrait mode because we just put it in there through this. Put it back and we're in landscape mode. If we want to go to any other menus from the bottom, you can get your frame rate and your resolution settings. Over on the right side is where you're going to get your pro settings, white balance, exposure, if you want those glamour effects to do some skin smoothing. Also that D-Log M and 10-bit color is sitting there waiting for you as well. And you can even get into your other settings for all your audio on the top menu over here. You can see my gain setting right from one tap, right? Swipe that out of the way and let's say you want to see what you've been filming, swipe from the left. And you've got all the stuff you've been filming sitting there waiting for you right there. All right, that's gonna do it for me here with the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. I am personally super amped on this thing. It feels like a significant upgrade and update and frankly a redesign of the Pocket 2. So if you've already been familiar with that, consider this just being quality upgrades with the image and the user interface. That's where I'll leave it on that, right? So if you guys have any questions for me about my limited use with the DJI Osmo Pocket 3, hit me with a comment down below. I'll do my best to answer with my limited use. Keep in mind, I've only had it for so long, right? Don't forget to hit like, really helps out this video and this channel. If you learned anything from Adorama TV over the years, hitting like is a really easy way to show some support. Hit subscribe and the bell if it's your first time here. We put out videos every single day just like this, and we will see you next time. Later.